Hi everybody, and welcome back to the channel. Today's video is going to be based on gear and how to pack your gear between aid stations. This suggestion came from the Running Lumberjack, and if you haven't checked out his videos, well worth a watch. So jumping into gear and packing in between aid stations. First we start with, hey, what gear do I carry? First of all, if I'm going out for a run in the trails or during a long race, I always take a phone, which is usually in a nice convenient pocket. I also take a first aid kit, or snake bandage kit as it's known here in Australia, just in case anything goes wrong. I always take then whatever the race requirements are for the race that I'm taking part in. So sometimes that'll be, well, usually always I'll have a emergency safety blanket, little tinfoil one that I can wrap up in. 2, head torch is usually compulsory for the longer night race. Whether you need jackets, long sleeve tops, any other special requirements that your race might have, and I highly recommend you find out as soon as possible what they are, get them into the pack so that you can start training with them as soon as possible. That way you're used to the weight that your pack's going to be, and you're never going to be adding extra in and thinking, oh shit, this is heavier than I'm used to. Then in the terms of nutrition, what I always take with me is a couple of bottles up front, whatever my sports drink is in the back, and I just like to have the water up front because it's easy to know that I just sip constantly on the water, and from the backpack top up with hydration every kind of 15-20 minutes, whatever it is that I'm going with. In my pockets then, I usually have energy bar, gels, nuts, little snacks or whatever I'm eating with me, so that it's going to keep me fueled up. And again, like the gear, even if I'm only going out for a smaller run, usually I will still stock up fully in terms of nutrition for 2 reasons. One, again, the weight gets you used to training with that weight of your backpack, but it also gets you used to exactly what's in what pocket. So it's just that habit. Building that habit run after run is key, so that come race day, whenever your brain starts going into fatigue, then it's just second nature. It's habit. You know exactly where everything is. You know exactly where everything has been stacked. So all my long runs and 1 or 2 other runs during the week usually end up fully loaded pack, compulsory gear for the race, gear that I take for safety, and the nutrition I intend to use for race day. In terms of gear packing for the aid stations, I have kind of a simple process that I like to keep it as easy as possible, and I'm going to jump into that. First of all, in the back pockets, I like to put things that I'm not really going to need so much, like of a jacket, the like of a head torch where you only have to take it out once a day, the like a lube where it's a backup, like your safety blankets, your first aid kit. I like to stack them in the order I think that I'm going to need them. So safety kit at the bottom, forever the optimist, jacket, head torch, lube at the top, so it's nice and easy to get to if I need to. If I'm carrying any change of socks or anything like that, that's the way I like to go. Any long training days, extra nutrition, I like to pop it in there as well, somewhere near the top where I can just restock the front couple of pockets. And then in terms of the nutrition up front, as I say, kind of water bottles in the same location. The odd time I will alternate one of the water bottles with the like of a Coke or something during the race, and I always like to have it same place, same time, and whatever that is for you, just try and get into the habit of doing that. So left's always water, right's always the alternative, backpack's always nutrition, and it just means I don't have to think, oh, which one do I lift, which one do I use. Same with the gels, energy bars, always in my left kind of side pocket on the Solomon Advance. But even if I'm wearing a different backpack, same layout, everything goes same area, so that I know it's just a case of reaching into that area and grabbing the things I need. Anything I don't need that often, like keys to the house, whatever else, I'll slot into the pockets that are a little bit more awkward to get at, and because I'm right-handed, sometimes the pockets on the right hand side are less easier to get than the things you normally need and usually use from the right hand side. So that's kind of my take on how I plan for the gear and where I actually position them. The other thing that's really important to remember whenever you're coming into aid stations is, if it's a supported crew or if it's a supported race and you've got a crew on board, have a think about the crew, have a chat with them beforehand, tell them exactly the way the pockets are going to work, exactly the way things are going to work during your the race. So for me, I like to take control of packing my pockets, because, as I said, building that habit, knowing exactly where things go, just leaves that come race day, whenever you might be slightly more fatigued, slightly not at your game, it's just repetition. The last thing you want, and I've had it before, where I haven't explained to my crew's just been packing in stuff everywhere. I don't know where I am with my nutrition, I can't find my nutrition, can't find my head torches, everything's just wrong. So what I like to do now is ask the crew and have that conversation with them beforehand. Whenever I get to the aid stations, I'll tell you what I want, you just hand it to me. I'll start packing the backpack so that I know exactly where things are, and then I take off the backpack and let them top up with whatever nutrition's in the back. That way I know that I have placed everything in the right locations, takes the pressure off the crew, and it does away with any distraction during the race on where is this, why can't I find my energy bars, why can't I find my packet of fruited nuts, all them things just does away with that. So two key takeaways for me in terms of packing between aid stations is, one, do it yourself with the assistance of your crew, so you know exactly where things are whenever you require them, and two, habit. Every run, every long run, every 2 or 3 times a week, get into the habit of putting that nutrition, same gear, in the same places, over and over and over again. Build that habit so that it's in your subconscious, that regardless of what's happening on race day, you just have it in your head, this is where it is, I'm fatigued, I can hardly walk, I can hardly think, but I trust in my habit, my subconscious mind, that this is exactly where my phone is, this is exactly where my water is, this is exactly where my Coke is, and it just eliminates so much thinking whenever you're in the middle of that race. just to recap then, and I'm sorry the running lumberjack if you wanted me to break down and go through my backpack on exactly where everything is. The reason I chose not to do that is, one, everybody's got so many different backpacks, and if you have a backpack that doesn't have front pockets on it, highly recommend you get a backpack with front pockets on it so that you're not having to stop, unzip and remove everything. Ultimate Direction, Scott Jurek does an awesome one, as too does Solomon, along with countless others out there. The big takeaway has to be getting into a habit of exactly where you put everything during your training, during your racing. Have that planned out in your head so that whenever you close your eyes, you know exactly where everything is, whether it's late at night, whether it's deep into a race and you can hardly think, or whether it's just a normal training run. Build that habit. Stick with the same place, same time, same location, over and over again, and it will become a hell of a lot easier. As I mentioned at the start, I will do another video on nutrition, calorie intake, and all things nutrition very shortly.